Welcome to another edition of Business Today, where we discuss in depth the business world and its dealings. As always, we've got a great program for you. Today, we are going to be focusing on the Ports Authority. Now, we're talking about one of the most integral part of the Sri Lankan economy. Being an island nation, being a nation that is trading with the globe, it is an integral part of our everyday lives, even though we don't sometimes pay that much attention to it. How the ports operate and what's coming into the country and going out of the country is vital to maintain businesses and to run a country. To do this, to actually talk about this particular issue and to talk about what's going on right now, we brought on the chairman of the Sri Lankan Port Authority, and we'll learn a little bit about him before we have a chat.
General Daya Rathnayake is the 26th chairman of the Sri Lanka Ports Authority. He was the former commander of the Sri Lanka Army with a distinguished career record of over 35 years. He was educated at Malayadeva College, Kurunegala. He started his military career as an officer cadet in 1980 and commissioned as a second lieutenant in 1981 in the Sri Lanka Light Infantry Regiment. General Rathnayake excels as one of the few officers from the Sri Lankan Armed Forces to acquire numerous local and overseas academic qualifications. He is honoured as a veteran in the battlefield for his exceptionally unique battle commanding in many daunting operations executed to safeguard the country. He is recognised as the most decorated officer to have been made the commander. To date, General Rathnayake remains a rare, memorable officer par excellence in the armed forces of Sri Lanka, awarded with gallantry medals for the most number of times. With the transformation of the army from warfare to reconciliation, his understanding and humaneness rendered an indelible service in the rehabilitation process during his tenure as the Commissioner General of Rehabilitation. He was unanimously elected as the National Chairman of Sri Lanka Athletics Federation, served as the Deputy Chairman of the Army Rugby Committee and a Council Member of Sri Lanka Rugby Union.
And General Daya Rathnayake, the Chairman of Sri Lanka Ports Authority, is with us in the studio. Welcome to the show, General. Nice to have you on. Now, General, of course, you took over the chairmanship of the Sri Lanka Ports Authority in December of 2019. And of course, 3 months into your chairmanship, of course, COVID hit and everything became what it is right now, the new normal. Chairman and General, how did this COVID situation start for the Sri Lankan Ports Authority, and what has your experience been so far?
First of all, thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. And initially, when this came up and when the COVID news came up in China, and we realized that this is going to probably come, we got to be ready. And this is how the port works actually. Port health is very important because health, there's a separate element from this health ministry called Port Health Organization, because health is taken as one of the priority things for port operations right around the world. Therefore, when this news came up, and of course Sri Lanka, His Excellency the President took the leadership, and in January itself we organized this task force and so on. I myself was included in the task force, so we were working together. So we immediately analyzing the situation, we developed a plan for Port Authority especially. And we have the doctors, we have the health department representative, we have our doctors, we have all our elements, and port has basically all elements in a country like. So that was an advantage, so we got together and developed a concept. So we that concept we publicized, we started educating our people. So that is how initially we started. As a result of that, and we really got the assistance from the health department and the government and all of the elements, and educated the people, structured the system. So we were running the system. As a result, initial wave, of course, you must understand, at that time The problem was coming from outside to the country. So we were the first to get, and the airport was almost closed at that time in the initial stage itself. So then Port Authority was the one we can't go. We work even to date, we work 24/7. We never close it. So so then average about 15 to 20 ships you get at any given time in the port. So if you have about 20 people in a ship, you see 300-400 people at any given time. These are all outsiders coming from various parts of the world. So we got to have protection from them. So we developed a system to deal with them. Then over and above that, at the initial stage, even the passenger crafts are coming, average about 15 to 20 passenger ships per month used to come onto the harbour. So average 500 to 3,000, 4,000 people on board. Likewise, so we managed initial stage very well with this concept, and up to October we never had any issue in the port. So when the second wave came, of course, there's a different thing. So we got to redesign, redevelop, the whole system, and we introduced a new system. As a result, even to date, we are with COVID, we are working without any interruption, in major interruption. But of course, we for latter part of October and beginning of November, for about 3 weeks we had the issue. That became kind of a serious issue actually. So, but we think very short period of time we did overcome that issue as well. Now we are normal.
Okay,
yes.
Because when the second wave hit, both sides were affected. So
yes, yes.
Within and without. General, talking about the first wave, how did the Ports Authority operate? How did the seamen who are coming into the country be treated with the supplies, and how did they come abroad?
So this initial stage, of course, we developed the system. All basic requirements they went through, the protective gear and all that we use. So interacting also, we had the system. So whenever they come out, going out, and all those basic during that time, what the government the guidelines were given, we followed 100% those guidelines in the same manner. So as a result, we did not have an issue. But later on, the second wave was the serious issue. The initial stage actually, so since everyone was very cautious, and so it became kind of an advantage for us.
Yeah.
Now when it came to near normalcy, and people sometimes take risks, and also, as you said very correctly, initially from outside, threat from outside, we protected ourselves very well. But when it came from inside, we couldn't do that. So because even now we did not get anything from outside. Actually, what Port Authority, even now we get some people, positive people, but all from the society coming into the port. That is how it is happening. Even now, I must tell you, we are managing it exceptionally well. The health department came and inspected us. They regularly come and inspect, and their recommendations, their appreciations are very high about the port and our concept and the way we are managing it.
Yeah, it's a very small steps that we have to take just to be cautious. So hopefully we do take those steps and make your jobs pretty easy as well. Now, talking about coming into your position as the chairman of the Sri Lanka Ports Authority, what was the initial vision like? What were you really hoping to tackle if the situation was normal?
This time it was a change. Actually, we came, and you know that my background is military background, came into this, and this was a challenge for me. But it was a challenge. I like to, we are people who like to take challenge. But this time it was different from other times. When we came in, we were given the appointment letters. Not only the appointment letters, there was something attached to it by His Excellency President. He gave us, immediate action plan, the intermediate plan, and the long-term plans. What we got to achieve in that time frame within 5 years, it was given and beyond. So based on that only we had to work. The concept was there to work for us to put into practice. So it is a new experience, but I realized within a short period of time, I realized there are enough and talented people. They have plans, they have master plans, they have blueprints, everything is there. So I got to implement. That's how it was. There are so many problems we had initially, but when initial assessment I realized there were two golden eras in the history of Port Authority, and one of the eras, top eras, 2005 to 2015. So thereafter, a very dark period actually. 2000, I must tell you, this is not something a political thing, but facts. Through facts, I am talking. 2015 to 2020 is the darkest period of our history of our Port Authority, ports history. So then, as a result, we had a serious problem of capacity in all aspects. Port Authority. So we got to work fast to bring in new businesses, actually improve the capacity. Basically, when a port is working, when you reach about 60%, 70% capacity, you got to improve new facilities to maintain. You maintain, you don't work towards 100% capacity. When you reach about 60%, 70%, you increase. Otherwise, you lose your business. That is how the nature of the business. So from 2015 to 2020, we have gone 100% and plus. Even now, we are working 100% plus.
Even now,
demand is over than the supply.
So we don't have storages for most of the
storage we manage. We have taken another thing, but other facilities which you can't overnight, like the terminal facilities, the crane facilities. All that, there is a limit. So we have gone past the limit.
General, what are the current ongoing projects within the Ports Authority?
Now, actually, the first priority is to increase the capacity of the terminal. That's one. Physical development, terminal capacity is number one priority. We are working on two projects right now. Within next 1 year, we will have additional 2 berths. Berths in 2 ships could be parked at any given time. That's how it is. So ECT, operationalizing ECT into the full capacity is number one task of ours. So ECT, we operationalize whatever the Eastern Terminal is a terminal of 1,300 long terminal. So only about 400 meters completed. That was also not operated for 5 years. So we operationalized it in October. So now it is. So we have to put new equipment and all that. We have to operationalize, take it to the full capacity of it. That's priority number one. Then on the other side, we are there's another terminal called Daya Container JCT. JCT has 4 segments, and the 5th one is being developed, and within next 1 year we will complete that as well. So there will be additional berth. So this is how we are developing capacity. By mid next year, we will have another additional capacity of a ship berth in ECT. So towards end of 2022 and beginning of 2023, we have to complete the ECT. At the same time, WCT, the Western Terminal, also will be we will commence that as well. So within 2023, there will be additional berth there as well. So thereby we will be able to manage the capacity. By 2025, we will have both terminals fully operational. That means Eastern Terminal fully operational and also the Western Terminal fully operational. That's how. Then JCT 5 also will be operational. So thereby we will be able to manage the capacity or the demand we have.
Yeah, and of course, increasing the capacity might lead to attracting more traffic through Sri Lanka.
Yeah, very much. Actually, it will be by 2025, according to our estimates. We will now presently we have the capacity of 7 million handling of 7 million containers. So 7.2 million we are handling right now. So by 2024, we will our plan is to get about 15 million containers to be handled by the Port Authority. That's our plan. Then we have another plan also finalized. By 2035, we will reach up to 35 million container handling capacity. That's our objective as part of the physical infrastructure development. Thereby other areas coming up. In order to support this, there are so many other connected operations, connected businesses. so that thereby we by 2030-35 we got to be very happy. So as Sri Lankans, we will have a huge port this part, which will be #1 port in this part of the world. So that is our plan. We are working towards it, and definitely year 2021 will be a year of transformation for the Port Authority.
We wish you luck in that endeavor. And of course, talking about the Sri Lanka ports, I want to ask about the stories that are in the news cycles. We've heard a lot about the Eastern Jetty and the Western Jetty. What is the situation currently?
Yeah, presently, Eastern Jetty, the news that it was, people are saying that it was to be given to India, but it was an investment actually, basically. That was what Eastern Terminal, this problem came, people know this, and this problem came when we were building it, Port Authority was building it, and then 2015 we had completed 400 meters. But 2019, that government, the Hapalana government, signed MOC with India and Japan, and this became the issue. And without actually giving WCT, which was to be given on PPP basis, they gave the one that the Port Authority has been doing. So that was the issue. Now we know that we got it sorted out. 100% the Port Authority will be operated, or the developed and operated by the Ports Authority. So initially also we had the plan, before 2015 we had the plans and we were building it. Now we had to revamp the system, update the current requirements and scenarios. We have now finalized it, and within we have already started the whole process, and the process will be procurement process, and the construction and all that will be started within immediate effect. And say our plan is to finish the next stage to be completed mid 2023, and finally end 2023 and beginning of 22. End 22, the second phase will be completed. End 23, the entire thing will be completed.
So that's the outlook right now, 2023. Hopefully everything will be completed. Now, of course, talking about the Sri Lanka Ports Authority, it's not just foreign governments that you have to deal with. You have many interdepartmental agencies in the local government that you have to, whether it be customs and of course the local government sectors, even private businesses you have to deal with. What is the communication structure like right now in the Ports Authority?
There's a super structure being developed. Over the years it has been developed, and so we are still developing it. Actually, some of the areas we are still very primitive, and some areas being well developed. So we are working on that. So digitalization is one of the top priorities, and whereby, as you said, there are stakeholders. There are 42 stakeholders in the port business. If you really take it, there are major ones and smaller ones. Major ones are the ones that like custom and shipping agents and freight forwarders and other agents like that. And there are other elements. There are about 10-15 major stakeholders. So we have to work together on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, then quarterly basis. We keep on meeting them, discuss with them, we work together. So within the port we have 3 major terminals. With the Eastern Terminal it will be the 4th one. Like one terminal is operated by us, the Port Authority. Then there is another terminal called SCGT terminal, operated by John Keels and their company. And the biggest terminal is the terminal called Southern Port, this CICT terminal, Colombo International Container Terminal, operated by a Chinese company with the Ports Authority. So these are the 3 companies. So we, on a daily basis, we together as Ports Authority, the Colombo Port, we sit together and discuss things and plan and implement. That's how it is happening. So with all other stakeholders also we have regular meetings. The system is functioning. So we need a lot of improvement in this. There are a lot of room for improvement. We have to introduce best practices in the world, because it's an international business. This is a huge competitive business. The competition is also very huge. So therefore, in order to survive, in order to be on top, and we got to work hard. We got to work together as a country, as a port. So we got to introduce new systems. The world best practices have to be introduced. We are on that line now. Introducing this year actually with Corona came actually as it was a blessing to the ports. So we took it as a blessing. We took it as a challenge. We took it as an opportunity. We transformed a lot of things. Like digitalization was very difficult to change the mindset of our people. So with this, we manage it very well, and we have introduced on like even the basic payments were not it was physical payments, but we have put 100% now. It is online.
Okay.
Then getting all container release and the stuff release in two forms. It's happening. One is called FCL, full containers, and second thing they call loose cargo. So both elements we have now digitalized. They're all happening online.
So that's a huge improvement. I think the front end, the customer wasn't there now.
Yes.
So I think we have heard about a lot of endeavors that you're planning. I know I'm not alone in wishing you luck, because this is one of the most integral parts of Sri Lankan economy. Hopefully this will continue to grow and develop so that we can actually have more input into the economy. Thank you, General, for joining us today.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Yes, that was General Daya Rathnayake, the Chairman of Sri Lanka Ports Authority, with us today. And with that, we'll wind up today's edition of Business Today. Thank you for joining us. Do join us next time. Till then, good night.